Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Crypto Hipsters Podcast, where I interview founders and co founders, entrepreneurs and artists, executives and stay at home hipsters in crypto and blockchain around the world. And I have an amazing podcast for you today. Let's get to it. Today, I have an amazing guest, and he's up to some really cool things. His name is Matt Street, and he is a community member with Lucky Maneki. And Matt, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. And it's been an exciting time for us at Lucky Maneki, and I'm glad to be here.
So let's kick things off. What is your background, and is it a logical background for what you're doing now?
As simple as that question sounds, it's not an easy answer for me, but I'll try to do my best in explaining. Essentially, Lucky Maneki NFT project is now community owned. So there's 5,000 plus holders of Lucky Maneki NFTs, and every one of them has a say in the direction of the project. So I am one of the community members who has volunteered a little bit extra of my time to help the community move forward in what my background and specialty is, which is marketing, marketing professional for 20 plus years. So I've kind of taken the wheel to help drive the community in that respect, and it's been amazing to see people out of this community of 5,000 pop up from around the globe to offer their expertise from their walk of life to drive this project in a positive direction in ways you couldn't imagine. It's a pretty powerful community that's kind of come together for a common goal.
Great. So let's talk about that for a second, because it's often overlooked is the importance of the community member, right? So the most successful projects have an advocate or multiple advocates, right? So how do you see yourself being able to drive the growth and development of this project?
Sure. It's happening literally as we speak. We're doing some important votes this week as a community where we proposition different questions on the direction of what the next NFT line we're going to launch is. Do we want to set up a merch shop first or implement a DAO system? So these are all questions that are up for a vote with equal say from every community member, and we're making these decisions right now and ongoing if you're a holder of a Lucky Maneki NFT. So it's really an exciting time for us, and a lot of positive things have been happening, and everything's 100% transparent. There are folks like myself and a few others that might put in a little extra volunteer time to help drive things, but there's no hidden channels in the community Discord. It's all open and transparent, and hoping to spark ideas from other members and participation as well.
Great. So what's the story behind Lucky Maneki, and the company and the project and the cats themselves?
Sure. Absolutely. So Lucky Maneki NFT launched in June of this year, on June 30th, to be exact. And that was the initial line. There was a little over 14,000 in the collection, and it sold out in 22 hours. So that initial collection was set up with the Lucky Maneki cat, and then a detailed background. The artwork overall was extremely intricate and detailed, and kind of one of the calling cards of the project was that artwork, because it led to other things like there's hidden messages and riddles within the artwork that can be used in, we do community challenges that involve the artwork, and you can win rare or legendary additional Lucky Maneki NFTs. And there's also a ongoing treasure quest to unlock this riddle. And in the this treasure chest is a bunch of prizes and rewards. I don't even know what's involved with all the prizes and treasures, as I'm just a community member who participate as well. So that was the original line, and then we just launched a second Lucky Maneki NFT line called Maneki Gang, and this was more an avatar based NFT line where it was set up to be a true profile picture that you could use on social media, like you see with a lot of NFT projects.
So that you're comparing like the Maneki Gang to like cypherpunks.
Exactly, precisely. Yep. That Bored Apes, that same style, very simplistic background, not as many traits. It doesn't have the detailed, intricate artwork like the first collection. This was designed to truly, be that profile picture. And, honestly, the art turned out incredible. It's one of the better profile picture designs I've seen out there in the marketplace. And we just had an ad in Times Square in New York City that featured the Lucky Maneki Gang, blaring across Times Square for a week straight, and brought a lot of press and hype, and really excited with how that turned out.
And I looked at your website before this interview, and I was amazed by the artwork that's on there. So
awesome.
Yeah, looks like you guys are doing really good. So you're welcome. So I want to ask you about your structure is more like a DAO than it is a VC just slapping up some JPEGs on OpenSea and making a whole bunch of money on ETH for that, right? So you guys actually have governance and a structure. What was your thinking in creating it the way that you did?
It basically was, once the community got control of the project, we wanted it to be sustainable. We wanted to build the brand, expand the brand, and having the DAO set up as our, fully decentralized structure, it only made sense because there's a lot of different initiatives that we can utilize to help fund the project, including the launch of a new line, secondary sales from the original 2 collections. And then also we're going to be launching a merch shop off the website, and that's going to utilize the IP of each Lucky Maneki. So once you hold one of the Lucky Maneki NFTs, you own the IP, which is really cool. So you can use that on your own to go and create merch, create a product line, sell to a brand, what have you. But by having the merch shop on our website, we're going to basically allow people to come in and use everyone's IP to create their own merchandise using our NFT artwork, which it's a really original idea and something we think will take off once we get it up.
So let's clarify, if I buy a Lucky Maneki, I own the IP, and then I can
Correct.
use your website to sell it.
You can use the website to create merch, any merchandise using your IP. You can also take your IP and do whatever else you want to do with it, and sell it and lease it out, what have you. But we're giving an immediate utility to be able to utilize that IP, basically.
That's awesome. Very good.
That's exciting stuff for sure.
No, it is. Yes, absolutely. I'm blown away right now. So let me ask you. You have a location called Lucky. Luckinia.
Yeah.
What's that? What makes that a magical place, and how does it look, in the future, in the long term?
Well, let me take you back even further than that. So, Luckinia was, kind of the made-up name initially of where our metaverse expansion, that world was going to be. It was going to be called Luckinia. But I think where you're going with this is, essentially the Lucky Maneki, the inspiration behind the project initially was around the Maneki Neko cat, which has origins in Japan. So the legend is that, a long time ago in a faraway land, there was this samurai who was on a journey and he was looking for shelter. So he went and sat down under a tree near a sacred temple. And as he's sitting, taking shelter, he sees a cat in the distance, and the cat appears to be beckoning to him to come over and visit with him at the sacred temple. So the samurai gets up and starts walking over, and as soon as he does, this bolt of lightning crashes down and boom, just obliterates the tree he was just sitting under. So he then thought this cat, his beckoning gesture was such good luck, and he turned out to be a wealthy individual, that he bestowed all this riches to the sacred temple. And that is how the legend of the Maneki Nico cat was created, and the inspiration for the whole Lucky Maneki NFT line. And as a community, we want to kind of push that message forward of luck and fortune and goodwill, and that's kind of the direction we're taking the project.
Great. So let's talk about at a higher level, metaverses to the extent that we can, right? And they seem to be like a cool and fun place to hang out. People leave their job, they're in a day, they're bored of, and they go online and they enter this tremendous metaverse where they can do anything they want, right? What's causing that? What's causing that interest? Like, what's driving that interest in the metaverses being such a popular place?
The metaverse, to me, it's like you said, it could be an escape. It's just like, people before were playing Atari and, Nintendo and Mario Brothers. It's the modern day version of that, except it's, where else could you go and, interact with people from around the world on more than just a, level like you would see on most social medias, where you can just click a like button or fire a comment. You can see gestures and motion and movement and really, get to know somebody, on a more personal level in the metaverse versus on some of the other outlets that have been available. So I really think it's a positive thing that, the metaverse exists. And I think it's right now, it's a land grab. There's a lot of opportunity, and I think you should stake your flag if you can. Not financial advice, but I think there could be some big things on the horizon. Is my thought.
And what do you think? What do you see as? I mean, in addition to it being the gold rush, right? What would be some of the long-term positive societal impacts of building something in the metaverse?
Sure. I mean, I think, just like I said, it's you're creating a place where, a community of people can come together and interact from around the world. We have plans for the metaverse, as you mentioned. We just actually voted this week and approved that our next NFT line we're going to be releasing is going to be a voxel NFT, which is immediately deployable into the metaverse. And we're going to be building out a game on, a plot of land, that we have in the sandbox, and using that, Lakinia theme, as you mentioned, to create this game that these voxel characters can be used in, immediately. So that's our next move. So, if you check back with us and, as short as a couple months, we'll be there.
Great. So let's talk about NFTs, because I've been working on my next book. That's going slowly, but I want to dispute an article I've read in one of the publications here. The article said NFTs are dumb, right? It was just as simple as that, and socially, psychologically, how do you feel NFTs have benefited, artists and your society members, your community members? How would you dispute that claim, that simple, claim?
Sure. I mean, and honestly, people, the JPEG, I could copy it and have it myself. And I'm not going to argue with anyone like that. They can have their beliefs, and you're not going to, get somebody to do a 180, overnight, obviously. But you're just seeing how it's already kind of rippling through society. And it's been, in such a short time, and it's making such big waves that, it's inevitably going to get more and more mainstream. And I'm seeing it all over mainstream at this point. NBA players are having their profile pictures as the NFT avatars. Professional boxers, it's really been big with the athletes. I think after that, we'll see entertainment industry get into it, and then it'll just, kind of trickle down from there. But overall, it is absolutely benefiting artists that never had an opportunity, because that's an industry, like music and entertainment where you got to have connections and an in, and this gives everybody kind of the floodgates of open to get your vision and your voice out there artistically. So it's a beautiful thing for that. And then for just allowing, people to come together, as a community, like we're doing at, Lucky Maneki. It's been a short time, just since, basically July, and, we're 5,000 strong working together and from all walks of life on a volunteer basis. It's pretty amazing, and that's the power of people coming together with a common interest or goal in mind.
The areas of NFTs are, let me see if I got this straight: art, collectibles, and gaming, right? But you mentioned sports. So what if I replace the word, like what if I replaced the word token in non-fungible to non-fungible ticket?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what would be possible further if you make tickets? How would things change?
I think the NBA, the National Basketball Association, is already doing that. They have their own NFT line, called NBATopShot, which kind of opened my eyes to NFT, last year, and they've expanded to the franchises that are releasing their own NFTs to give perks to visitors of the stadiums, and there's already been one team that's done NFT tickets last year. So I think we're going to see that. Like, that's absolutely going to be something that is the future of sports and attending venues.
Okay, so like the banks are afraid of Bitcoin, right? Would Ticketmaster need to be afraid of that? So it's something to ponder, right?
Right.
So an area of challenge right now in the NFT space is, and I just was on a panel this past week, we are talking about valuations, right? Is how do you objectively value all of the artwork, the collectibles? Like right now, it's very subjective. How do you, and it's not just a bubble, right? So how do you value objectively NFTs, and then how would you value objectively, your project?
Sure. I mean, I think first is the artwork. You're going to look at that and be attracted to that or not, and that's a personal level thing, and that's the number one. You're drawn to the project because of the artwork. The number two thing would be kind of the utility or roadmap of the project itself. So what can you do with the artwork? Is it simply to look at and you own and print and hang it on your wall, which is nice, but having the other utilities to kind of incorporate it into the real world, or how it can benefit you, or how you can utilize it further, is what drives the value of the NFT project and the pricing.
Okay, so you said something interesting there, and I've been asking people about this. The real world. You say, a lot of people say, crypto's in one world, or NFTs in one world, and the real world. I would say there's a merging of the two, and what's the line of demarcation of what you consider to be the real world versus what the world is in NFTs?
But I mean, I guess real world might be the wrong word. It's more along the lines of, once you can hold it, like when you print that, pint glass and you have your, NFT Maneki on there, or that hoodie, and you want, the awesome artwork, and you can walk around, represent it, as you're walking down the street, or you print it on a canvas and hang it on the wall, versus just having it in a wallet, within the cyberspace, and you're not able to you haven't done much to utilize it beyond that. This would be the utilization that I'm talking about.
Okay, so then that brings with it a psychological benefit too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What would be some of those for your members?
For as far as our utilities?
Yeah.
I mean, number one, would be, we talked about the merch shop, so getting that up and utilizing that. Number two is we have the different challenges, with the original collection, where you can, it's like a game, and you can play in the game and participate using your unique artwork to win, more, NFT rewards as part of that. We also have, the new voxel collection that I mentioned, and it's set up so that for every 3 of the original Lucky Manekis you own, you get 1 free, from the new voxel collection. So that's another, kind of utility or incentive of owning, the Lucky Maneki NFT. And then beyond that, once you have the voxel collection, then we're going to go into the metaverse, and that's kind of the gateway there to open up a ton of utility, with what we can do there with gaming and everything else. So, there's a lot of things on the horizon, and, overall, just for us, if you own any of the, Lucky Maneki NFTs or Maneki Gang, you're an owner of the project. You're in the DAO. So, that's a huge utility. I mean, that right there is something real and tangible that you can speak of, and you're an owner. That's, it's a great thing, a great perk.
So what I noticed about your project, and compared to others, is there is an opportunity here for a spiritual development piece, right? Like,
Sure.
becoming, growing in personal growth and development. How do you see it as being able to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I see, just where we've gone in a few months, and, like I said, it's been leaps and bounds, and the power of just kind of having a pool of over 5,000 people from around the world, and you get these all-stars that jump up from all walks of life to volunteer to do their specialties and drive this. That's, it's a great communal feeling, and the highs of success are much higher as a community together, and you can handle the lows as a community better, group better than you would as just some one individual owner or CEO. That, I think that's an experience of itself that might be what you're referencing.
It is, and I wanted to hear you say that. So,
Okay.
Thank you. And one last thing I noticed today is that I want to talk about is on their website, you talk about having a Lucky Maneki bank.
Okay.
Right.
Now, that just that we have a brand new website that we literally just dropped, literally yesterday. So you definitely haven't seen it. It's luckymaneki.org instead of .com. So that it's a simpler, cleaner website. But I just wanted to give you that information. But the Lucky Bank, to answer your question, is essentially what has become now the DAO. Initially when the product first launched, it was used to do a series of raffles and giveaways of Ethereum from the sales of the initial launch, which was a really cool thing and exciting, kind of playing off the theme of luck and prosperity and giving and that sort of thing. But we've now gone well beyond the raffles and the lotteries, and now it's going to be this full-blown DAO structure. So that's what the Lucky Bank has become, per se.
So I have one last question. Thank you very much for speaking with me today. I learned a lot. I'm excited about Lucky Maneki. It sounds like an awesome project, and a lot of committed people working with together. It's awesome. So my last question is this: how can people find out more information about you and about Lucky Maneki? How can they obtain some of these NFTs? How
Sure.
can they do that?
I guess just keep it super simple, and the new website has links to both collections where you can buy them right now in the secondary market. It has our roadmap, so you can see what we have coming up in the future. It's where the merch store is going to be shortly. So that URL is luckymaneki.org, and I'm say 10 times fast, and I'll fumble it, so I'll just spell it out. It's Maneki is MANEKI. So luckymaneki.org.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me, and come on, join us. Join the Maneki family. We'd love to have you.
I will. Thank you. All right.
All right.